Assistant Manager, Corporate HR and Talent Acquisition Head, India Region at Tata Communication Limited. Sir is a self-driven and energetic man with a positive outlook, a natural forward planner who critically assesses his own performance. Sir has a rich experience and has worked with the global giants like Reliance Communication, Air India, Reliance Retail Limited, Reliance Industries Limited and Aptech Limited. Sir has completed his PG from Xavier's Institute of Management. Sir is also the author of the book entitled Power of India. Sir, we are eager to listen to you. The podium is all yours.
So thank you very much and good evening to everyone. Thank you very much to Professor Seema, Aparna and all the students and the management of BITM for calling me and it's my privilege to be here. First thing, it's too embarrassing that you are standing up. It's a little awkward now. So I also feel I was just sharing with Professor Seema that probably this is the very odd time to speak to a gathering of students because first your teachers are sitting here, so you will always be very attentive and act like you are listening and understanding. Even though you must be bored with all the lectures and the presentations which you have been given since morning. So what I'll do is, I really don't know what you want to listen. So if you can tell me what you want to listen, I'll speak on that topic. Otherwise, I have a small presentation ready and then we'll discuss whatever you want to discuss. So which way you will prefer? Okay. So I have divided my presentation into three portions, three parts. One is I'll share with you a little bit about Tata and Tata Communications. What are we looking for and what any corporate is looking for? Since I have worked in telecom companies, I have worked in retail companies, services sector. So any kind of perspective, not limiting only to telecom organizations, I would like to give you. What are the challenges which we are seeing across all the institutes, including IIMs. So that's one perspective. I've been visiting last month to IIM Calcutta. So there we had some sort of meeting with the faculty and the board members there. So there was very candid information, candid chat which we were having, that there are some elements which needs to be focused. There are some, we are not looking at only people, those who have exposure to India market or Indian market. So that is one element, that's the crux and that's the basic of my presentation, which I'm going to cover and which probably I'm going to stress upon a little bit more on that. So initially, the Tata Group, Tata Communication challenges for any new managers like you who are going to get thrown in the ocean of cruel corporate culture from next year onwards. So we'll share about that, and then we'll be linking the key imperatives. How can, I'll be focusing more a little bit on HR also, as well as business. Like you will see a lot of companies, every vertical, every function of that company is focusing and working in silos. There is no synergy between the functions, those who are working. So I'll be focusing there also. And then some career options which might interest you in telecom, retail, manufacturing and services organization. And there are two case studies which I will share. One about the talent acquisition, global talent acquisition. Second is about the compensation and benefit, how that should work and how that is the challenge and expectation of each company from the new budding managers who would be coming and joining the organizations like you next year. So even though the agenda is very big, presentation will end in 20 minutes, don't worry. Okay, so this is about Tata Tata as a group. Tata is 83.3 billion US dollar organization. 60% of revenue comes from outside India. We are 140 years old company, only entity to be listed in Forbes list for world's most respected brands. We have about 4 lakh employees across the globe, operating in more than 100 countries, 7 sectors across 6 continents. Something about Tata Communications. We have close to about 8,000 employees in 42 countries across the globe. 35 is the average age, and you will see the most important thing here is we are present in 52 countries. So the important elements for all of you here is that are you equipped to manage businesses, whichever function you work, whether you're working in sales, marketing, telecom, HR, service assurance, billing and collections, whichever function you are working, are you capable or do you have the competencies to manage operations in more than one countries? So that's one area where I would be focusing on, and that's the objective of putting this slide here. Okay, and you will see from this slide that 73% of revenue for Tata Communications comes from outside India, which obviously means that as a company, our focus is more outside India than in India. So there are 2 elements here. One, to get revenue from where the revenue generating functions, we focus outside India. Support function, we focus inside India. So you will see in terms of revenue is 73%, which comes from outside India, but you will see the employee base, 70% of employees are based in India. So all the support functions which can be we have shifted a lot of service delivery, service assurance functions from US and Neotel, South Africa to Pune. We have an office in Pune. So a lot of support functions, a lot of managed services, a lot of data center things are being shifted and integrated and synergized at one location, which is Pune. Because we have a small facility in Pune here. Yeah, so that's one area which I wanted to share with you. Now, important thing which I was sharing with you, are you ready? Now, if you see the Tata Communication, the bottom part which I'm focusing here on this element is not what kind of acquisition which Tata Communication has done. Tata Communication has done close to about 7 acquisitions, and all the acquisitions were outside India except Disnet DSL. We acquired Tyco, we acquired Teleglobe, we acquired Neotel, which is in South Africa, we acquired BitGravity and Mosaic in UK, and there was we were also a failed bidder for cable and wireless. So the point which I'm trying to make here is, as a young professionals of whichever stream you are in, do you see yourself that you will be able to manage for the function which you have chosen for more than one continent? Are you aware that what are the skills or the competencies which any organization look for when they hire for their organizations, when these are the expectations? So if you have query, we can discuss about those elements also, and that is what I would probably like to cover more when we are talking about a couple of case studies which is there here in the slide. Okay, the biggest mistake which any HR manager does, the professional mistake which they commit, is they get lost. We talk too many about the metrics, we talk about the processes. I'm busy here, I'm busy in this process, I'm busy in that process, I'm preparing one plan for this business, and they forget about the people. I'm this sharing from the HR perspective. You ask any HR manager, he'll tell you I'm busy in creating performance management system, competency matrix, critical skill gap analysis, and so many processes and complexity they are involved in, but they forget the most important element, which is people, connecting with people. You ask any HR manager today how many employees they speak on every day, most of them will be silent, because they are busy in creating processes, busy in creating matrices, busy in creating some systems, HRIS systems, or there are too many systems which are there, many systems, and each of the system does not talk to each other. For example, there is a employees shared services system, you have performance management system, you have critical skill analysis system, but all the systems are independent of each other. That becomes the challenge. Some HR managers remember people, but they forget profit. It's very important. Now, most of the organizations, erstwhile organizations, used to think HR as a support function. Currently, no organization think HR is a support function, but it has to be enabling functions. Now, you would not see too many business heads, too many CEOs giving too much importance to a HR head in the traditional organizations. But now things are changing. HR has to be enabler. HR has to also show business that within their parameters, they can make a lot of differences and they can make a lot of changes and enable business to maintain profitability. We'll show you how. So important aspect here is you will see many companies focusing on these elements. I have just captured this to give you analysis of various functions in which any HR manager focuses. But we have to get away from this and we have to make any strategy, people strategy, if they are making people strategy, it has to be in synergy with the business strategy. And that's what the focus has to be. We have to embed people strategy into business strategy to support business in achieving their key imperatives. Now, this is a very loaded statement. How many of you have understood? Okay, so that's what most of the HR managers does. They don't understand themselves and they make things very confusing statement to confuse others, which is what I have done. So it was a very intentional slide. I thought if people are sleeping, I can make them awake. So I'll make this very simple. See, any people strategy which you are making, any kind of hiring strategy you are making, any demobilizing strategy you are making, any critical talent management study which you are making, it has to be supportive of the business. It has to support business. To give you an example, I have prepared a couple of things which we can share here. Now on the left hand side which you see here, these are the objective or the key imperatives. Key imperatives in simpler term you can say some elements which any business head wants to achieve. That's the key imperative for business. Something which a HR manager or HR head wants to achieve is the key imperative for the HR. So for any business CEO in any organization, you will see these elements are the prime elements which any business head wants to achieve. I have taken 3 examples. One is about the profitability, which is very important. Second is about the external customer, which is customer delight. That's any CEO focus on. And third is the internal employee. So very intentionally I have taken these 3 objectives and key imperatives in little difficult language, and I'm just trying to explain you how as a HR manager or how as a business or functional manager, somebody would be working as a sales head, somebody will be working as a marketing manager, somebody may be working as a API head in their respective organizations. So how can you link your functions KRA or key imperative with business? If you don't do that, trust me, nobody in the organization will give you importance and nobody in the organization will take you seriously, because they believe that your function is not contributing to the organization in achieving the larger goal. So when we talk about achieving the bottom line and the top line, I hope everybody understands what bottom line and top line is. Okay. So bottom line is some people here who are surfing on their mobile phones. Top line is there. Okay. So no, I'm just joking. So top line and bottom line, how as a HR manager or how as a functional head, if you are say heading a marketing function or if you are working as a marketing manager, how do you contribute to a CEO's or a director's or the head of or the managing director's objective or key imperatives of increasing the top line and increasing the bottom line? So that you can do through right staffing. And right staffing, when I say, it does not mean HR is the owner of this process. Staffing or the annual operating plan, manpower planning for that function needs to be done by that particular functional head. So for example, somebody is working in say billing and collection department. You are working as a billing and collection manager. So you would be leading a team of say about 20 people. Now business has a forecast of increasing their business say from 1 million to 2 million. To support that increase of business, what is the number which you will be needing for next financial year? That's the projection which needs to be done by the respective functional head. And that's what I mean by right staffing. Now, the right staffing, you can project 20, you can project 30, but that has to be optimum number. So optimum number projection can be done on two ways. One, in one evening I had a gut feeling, okay, I need 20 people, so I give a forecast of 20 people. That's one way of doing things. Second is you take out certain trend, past trend. Okay, one people was managing 20 bills in a day, so in a year it becomes this X amount, and basis this I need this number of manpower. That's second way of doing things. Third way is you need to do a past trend. You also need to take into efficiency enhancement factor. For example, any person's efficiency was at 90%, so you assume that for next year as a manager, I will increase efficiency of my manager by 10%, and that you factor, and then you forecast the manpower number. So instead of 20, it becomes 70. So you are saving the bottom line of the company by 3 manpower. So that's the optimum staffing which I mean by here. So that needs to be done by the respective functional manager. HR is an enabler. He can give you some data, he can give you some feedback, but that forecasting needs to be done by that particular business, which is extremely, extremely important. That's the first and the fundamental part for any manager, which can contribute towards the top line and the bottom line of the organization and meet and support larger goal of the organization. Second, so once you have done that, now you have done the manpower forecast. I need 18 people for my team. But when? That's also a question. Now, you may want that I need manpower in X number or Y number. So this you need to work with the respective HR person that the just-in-time hiring is done. It should not happen that you want the manpower in the month of September, but you are getting the manpower in the month of November. So you are losing 2 months productivity, by which you are affecting the larger organization goal. It should also not happen that you want the manpower in the month of September, but you have got the manpower in the month of July. So you are adding to the cost, 2 months cost to the bottom line of the organization. So that's what just-in-time hiring is increased, and these two are leading to the productivity and profitability of business. So these are the key imperatives or the support which any functional manager or any sales manager or any marketing manager or any billing and collection manager provides to the larger goal of the organization. That's what I mean by linking your functional key imperatives with the organizational imperatives, and hence people's strategies should be in synergy with the business objective of any organization. If we do that, you would have better impact and better visibility in the organization, if I can put it this way. And similar is the example for right staffing, increased efficiency. So if you want to achieve customer delight, the example which I gave you, you can link here. Developing internal talent. Since I shared, I have taken 3 examples. One is about the profitability, one is about the external organization, and third is about the internal organization. So these are some illustration of how you can link your own functional efficiency with the organization's key imperatives. It looks one slide, it's very, very important. And you also need to work, once you go into any corporate, it becomes very important for you that you start linking your functions. You have to show to your team members that what they are contributing to the larger goal of the organization. These are some things which I have listed down from HR perspective. These are some, you will see any HR manager who comes, he'll talk 2 big things about, I am doing this for my team members, and you have sales chatter, you have internal posting by any organization. So any HR manager who comes, they will talk about these important elements: social responsibility, talent contest. Point and important elements which I want to focus and share here is what for any employee work. So all these activities, whatever a HR manager or whatever your functional head is organizing, why he is organizing these elements, and what he is trying to achieve, whether he should organize these events or not. But by organizing those events, what is the end objective which he wants to achieve? So what happens by productivity? Okay. So fundamental thing which we need to understand as a manager is why an employee work for an organization. What motivates your organization or a employee to choose a company? What you will see in any organization, some employee will be very productive than others. One employee is more productive than others. One employee chooses to work with Tata Communication, one employee does not choose to work with Tata Communication. So in general, what are the key elements for which any employee work? I have put here 5 P's. Passion. Yeah, wonderful. Passion. The promotion happens once you join the company. Very good. Money is important. Yeah. Yeah, so you have given all right answers, but I need only 4P, like you have in marketing. So I'll choose 4P from what you have answered. See, any employee, it is you also, you would choose a company for people. What kind of manager you are reporting to? So you will see many organizations, you will see at senior people, like suppose I would not like to take any examples here, but you will see many organizations, if one GM is leaving and joining some other organization, with him there are 20 people who will leave. Yeah, it's very, very common. You will see one CEO leaving an organization, joining, say, like one expat who has come and joined Reliance Retail, along with him 40 people have come. Yeah, Subrato, Mindtree CEO left and joined and started another company. With him 200 people left. But why? Because people wants to work with people. People work for people. That's what motivates them. So if your manager is good, you want to work for that manager, not for that company. So people work for people. Second, also people work for pride. In any organization, you have to, or any function which you are leading, or any institute which is being, which any director is leading, a pride factor needs to be created in the team members. If they had that pride that I work with, one example is Infosys, one example is Tata. Any employee who work with Tata, 99% of them would have that pride factor. People may not have that in a Reliance. People may not have that in some other company. I'm taking Reliance name because I work there. But you will see that that pride factor needs to be there. The pride factor needs to be created. And why I'm focusing on this point is that next year onwards, you'll be joining one organization. So you'll be leading a team of, say, about 10 people. So unless you put this pride factor in your team, it will be difficult to motivate them. They would not be very happy with you. So the second factor is pride factor. Third is the process. Many people you will see, they would like to, they want to work for a Facebook. You heard Facebook? Anybody who hasn't heard? So you will see a lot of processes. If you see, Facebook is globally the #1 employer of choice, nominated and contributed by various employees, those career aspirants and people, those who are working in that company, and because of the process. They have very set process. They don't have to go and get confused in various policies and processes of that organization. So third element is process, which a company wants to work. And fourth, in my opinion, the most important factor for any employee who works is paisa. If money is good, people want to work with that organization. So the first element and the third, all four are important, and these are 4 elements which, since in last my 15 years of career, which I have started working on, I focus on these 4 elements. And any activity which I want to organize for my team members or for my organization has to be based around these 4P. So if I'm organizing a, say, employee engagement activity, if I'm calling a family member, I make sure that the spouse or the kids, those who are coming to my office, should have that pride factor that, okay, my husband is working with Tata Communications. When she goes back in her society, she must speak, yeah, my husband works in a good company. So that pride factor needs to be created. And trust me, if the spouses are happy, employee is more happy. There are more pressure in home than in office. I can assure you that people, those who are married, would know. I don't have, but I'm just sharing. So any activity as a manager, as a business manager, which you organize in your organization or your team members, should lead to this one of the elements of P. The most important has to be created is the people. People should look forward to you. That's the key element. So these are 4 elements very close to my heart, and that's what I have been doing, and I have been doing quite great. So these are 4 things which I thought of sharing with you. Important elements. Now I'm getting into a little serious stuff. Is as a manager, as a HR manager or as a business manager, I have just taken 5 reasons, because these are the reasons which I manage. Globally, Tata Communication has divided their global operations into 5 regions. One is India, MENA is Middle East and North America, APAC is Asia Pacific, Europe and Americas. So now what the challenges come, and what this is the question which I wanted to throw to all of you, is that do you have the competency to manage these regions? If not, do you know what it is required, what are the skills and competencies which are required? Because if you know what is required, probably you can work with your faculties and you can work with your mentors to bridge those competencies. You still have 4 or 5 months to go. To give you an example, I have just taken 3 elements. One is talent acquisitions, and CNB, and talent management. Everybody is aware of what compensation and benefits are. That's the most favorite topic of any employee who applies in any organization. They want to negotiate more here. Now, to give you an example of talent acquisition, some practical challenges which come across. Now, we want to hire, so say for Tata Communication, on any company who are operating or who have their customer base. For example, Tata Communication has their customer base in about 182 countries. Now, to support those customers, we need employees in various countries. Now, every country you cannot go and start a company. That's practically not possible. So we have entities in about 20 countries. Still, on the 42 countries where we operate, we don't have an entity. Entity means a company. For example, Tata Communications Dubai, Tata Communications Singapore. So these are entity which you need to create to hire any manpower. Unless you have that entity, you cannot hire. So that's the norm. So that's what I mean by entity. So I mean, wherever you have entity, what is the challenge? Where you don't have entity, what is the challenge? Now, recently we wanted to hire a person in 6 of the MENA region countries: Qatar, Oman, Dubai, Riyadh. So these are some of the places where we wanted to hire. Now the challenge was we don't have an entity there. Now how do we hire? So what needs to be done is that either you have to take definitely opinion of your legal and the taxation team. So you have to hire maybe on the payrolls of, there are 2 ways of hiring. One, you hire on the payroll of TCL Dubai or any company's Dubai entity, and then send them on secondment to the 3rd country. You know what secondment is? Okay. Secondment is, for example, now you are studying in BITM. Now, BITM has an alliance with X institute in UK. So you are not a student of UK, but BITM is sending you in that particular institute for 3 months. So that arrangement is known as secondment. Now a 3rd party organization will come. So BITM does not have the authority to make visa processing, arrange work permit for you to work in UK. So what BITM will do is BITM will choose a 3rd party agency, which is say Thomas Cook or XYZ company, who on behalf of BITM will arrange all visa, work permit for you. So those are non-entity. So wherever you don't have entity, you need to identify those 3rd party agency who will second your employee in that particular country. So now the problem happens is there is a lot of taxation rules which are there. So that needs to be managed. The point which I am trying to make here is that for becoming a sales manager or becoming a HR manager, only knowledge of your core area is not important, is not sufficient. You have to have knowledge on more elements also. Now, how do we relate this? Now, for example, you are a sales manager or you are a billing and collection manager, and you want to hire a person in, say, a country say South Africa, where you have an entity or you don't have an entity, but that's the first set of people you want to hire. Now you don't know what is the salary you need to give an employee there because you don't have a salary benchmark. So what you need to, so there are many challenges which come, and since you are operating in 42 countries, it becomes little difficult to do benchmarking of compensation in each of these countries, which as a business manager or which as a HR manager you need to do, because otherwise you will go wrong. You will either pay too high, which will affect your company's bottom line, or you will pay to the countries. Now how do we do that? It's very easy saying. Now simple way is, now suppose you are hiring for say Riyadh, interview 20 people. So you have interviewed 20 people, you have nothing. So interview 20 people, and then you see the range of those experience, and there are certain benchmarks, there are 20 parameters based on which you can decide, okay, I made range Q1, Q2, Q3 and Q4. So that's the range which any organization creates, and they hire in Q1 and Q2. Salary scale of Q1 and Q2, because next 2 years they also need to give hike in price, good, and let's give him some job enrichment, and we made him in charge of good, and let's give him some job enrichment, and we made him in charge of MENA region. So initially we give him responsibility of Saudi Arabia and Oman, and then subsequently now we have increased to 6 more countries. So when from here he went there, he was absolutely clueless. He didn't know how to manage. Culture is different. They don't work on Friday and Saturday. They work on Sunday. So there are many challenges which are there. So you have to be very, very flexible. You have to be very, very adaptable. Like here we ask people questions. Are you married? In interview we also do that. Are you married? You can't ask this question in UK or US. You can be sued. People can sue you. So you need to know the local culture, local dynamics, how things work on these timing. Like you will see on the 4th row, there's a person who's sleeping now. So he may be working on US time. So he's sleeping, he has got a opportunity to sleep now. So you need to understand local dynamics, which are very, very important, which is very, very critical. Okay, and you need to keep an eye on the pulse of the people. As a speaker, it's very important for you to know whether people are listening to you or not. If not, you should stop. I'm giving an example. So it's very, very important, and good manager are people who knows how to read people, who knows how to understand people. If you don't know how to read people, if you don't know what people expect from you, it's difficult to be successful. I'll tell you, I lead a team of about 40 people who sit across about 10 locations, both inside India and outside India. Now, people in Chennai or in South get motivated because of a different thing. People in West has different motivation factor. People in North have different motivation factor. People in East has different motivation factors. Suppose, for example, if you are leading a team in, say, Kolkata, which is in West Bengal, you need to give them the factor that you are the only person, boss, to whom I trust. Emotional factor is very important in East. If you give that factor, they'll give their life for you, which doesn't work in Mumbai. Okay, which doesn't work in North. North people work for money. They need to see money to work for you, otherwise it's difficult. So there are various factors, like for example, people in South Africa, we have quite a company called Neotel in South Africa. Where we have about 2,000 employees in Neotel. Now Neotel is quite like people in North. They are rebellion by nature. So it's difficult to manage them. So on Friday 4 o'clock people are off. You can do whatever you want to do as a manager or as a CEO. They don't care. 4 o'clock Friday they're off for weekend. So they start planning for weekend on Friday. So you need to know that the best to take best from them is the time from Monday to Thursday. They don't work, and you cannot change culture of any country or culture of any particular state. So that's how the adaptability comes into picture. You need to be very, very adaptable. You need to understand what makes employee work for you in that particular country. It's extremely important. I'll share with you one example of we are trying to hire a person in one of the countries. Wouldn't name that person. Now this person he's working with Orange. Orange is a French company, and it's a huge company comparing Tata Communication. Now this guy is based in X country, and he wants to work with Tata Communication. I don't know why. The Orange company is trying to shift him into France and give him better responsibility, but that he is not taking care of, but he wants to be there. Do you know why he wants to work with Tata Communication? Because we have taken care of insurance for his family, which is a big thing in US. Insurance and medical facilities are very, very expensive. So we need to understand and give some USP to that particular, and that's how you do talent management. I was coming to third element. So you need to understand what works local and what works global. So there are certain attributes, there are certain skills which are required by a global manager, both HR as well as the functional manager, to become global. The biggest challenge which our country is focusing, and that's why you will see a lot of expat coming and joining in senior position in Indian companies, that Indian managers are lacking in managing or having global experiences. So that's a big challenge, and it is very easy for students like you. You are in a time where it's very easy to get a first job where you can have multiple countries experience. It's extremely easy. But you got to be prepared for the chances of success is more. The chances of success of getting job, probability of getting a job, such job is more, but the chances of failure are even higher. So you need to be prepared for such challenges, and you need to start looking from a more than Indian perspective to little global perspective. If you are concentrating more on India, you need to see and study the consumer behavior or the employees pattern in all the states of our country. Extremely important. You will see certain percentage which we have written here. These are percentage of certain metrics which probably I'll share later, which I have written. These are another important factor which we need to focus is how do we build internal credibility. As a Subir Verma, I think I am doing a phenomenal job. I think there is nobody like me in Tata Communication. That doesn't matter to your organization. That doesn't matter to your organization. What matters more is, does your manager or does people who matter most in the organization has the same feeling about you like the feeling you have about yourself. So managing perception is extremely important. That's one slide which I have created, where you need to, there is a book which very recently, about a year back, which has come, The First 90 Days, if some of you have read that. This book is talking about creating your own brand in the first 90 days. If you are not able to make impact in first 90 days, you would not be successful. You need to find another job. So this is what I mean by, a lot of people you will see in organization frustrated. I am doing my best here, मेरा boss समझता ही नहीं मैं कितना काम करता हूँ. A lot of people would be like that, but important thing is that you need to, this is happening in all organizations, and this will happen in all organizations. It happens in family, it happens in college, it happens everywhere. So you need to understand what it takes to manage perception. Perceptions are important. Perception management is even more important. So as a budding managers who are going to join various organizations, it's very important for you to know which are the elements important to manage these perceptions, which would take you long way in your careers. We'll share more details about this topic maybe some other time. This is one of the case study which I wanted to share, but I'll move ahead to the next case study of compensation and benefit. Now we were hiring. We have a line of business, or we have identified a line of business. This I am sharing you from the perspective that any organization which you join, you might be given a responsibility of business which is new to the organization, which is not existing. So for example, Ranbaxy wants to launch a new hotel chain of hotels. Now Ranbaxy doesn't have experience in that particular sector, neither you. So those situations, how do you need to manage? So similarly, I have taken example of cloud business, for which we were trying to attract top talents across the globe. Now, when we started manpower planning, we didn't do any manpower planning for this, because we were ourselves not sure what this business is, how this is going to come, what kind of ROI which we are going to get. So we just thought of hiring 4 people. So in India, we could only shortlist 1 person. So then we changed our strategy. So my thought process that quality manpower is available in abundance in India for all technologies are a myth. There are many technology for which you don't have people, or you are not able to attract right kind of people, for which you need to look people from outside. So this is how complete mapping and all those details was done. So it's important for you to be little flexible in your thought process, that even if you have been thrown in water in a swimming pool without you knowing swimming, you should have the guts and the charisma to at least walk through that swimming pool if you don't know swimming. So that kind of feeling needs to be there. It's extremely important. You would not get everything what you are expecting in any corporate or any business function. So there would be certain surprise elements which will be available and which will be in store for you, which you should be prepared for. These are some of the career options which I have listed down. There are plenty. The point which I am trying to focus here is sales. So you got to be very, very focused what kind of career you are looking for. Sales is not a career. So there are 10 elements in sales you can have. You can choose distribution, direct, retail, enterprise, business development. There could be 10 various options in the sales domain which we need to be focused for. So you should be very, very careful while doing it. Yeah. Important thing is be successful. Important thing is to have the right attitude to be successful. If you know Sachin Tendulkar, when did he start his career? Okay, against whom? Which team? Pakistan. Okay, and where was the first match happening? Okay, good knowledge. Important is not where it was happening. Important is one incident which I remember. I'll share with you. In that, I guess it was Faisalabad. Pakistan had made a huge score. India was made to do follow on. And the second inning, India they needed to score about 251 to at least make Pakistan bat into the second inning. And India was 4 wickets down. All big players were out, and the income are Sachin Tendulkar in the second inning, and on the second end was Navjot Singh Sidhu, and there was a huge bouncer from Waqar Yunus which hit the chin of Sachin Tendulkar. He started bleeding profusely. He was bleeding, and then Navjot Singh Sidhu went to Sachin Tendulkar and said you get retired hurt. Go to pavilion. You can come later. Otherwise, these guys will not let you bat, and your career will be over right now. Then his shirt was completely stained with bloods, and then this young man of 16 years stood up and told Navjot Singh Sidhu that "Main khelega." And then he started playing and made 51 runs, which helped India in probably drawing that particular test. Important thing for all of you to be successful in any corporate is to have this attitude. If you have this attitude, you'll be successful. And I can tell you as a talent acquisition head and as a heading one function for Tata Communication, it is the one thing which we look in a candidate. Qualifications, how much you know is important, but the most important thing is what kind of attitude you are having, because that's one thing which we cannot teach you in a corporate. All the best, and be successful. If we have any support to you, let me know. It was a pleasure coming here.